It's E3!
16 times the detail.
Grenade while jumping off a horse. Incredible.
Yes, it's E3 again, so it's time for more people to embarrass themselves in front of millions.
Peggle 2!
EA had possibly the worst conference I've seen last year, but thankfully they decided not to show up this year, so I didn't have to sit through a bunch of sports games and Andrew Wilson saying stuff like,
We've still got a bunch more ahead, including FIFA, Star Wars, and of course Battlefield 1. But first let's have a practical conversation about play.
no, come on, just shut up. Well, the only thing I was interested in watching was Respawn's new Star Wars game, and they did show more than nothing this year, so I guess that's an improvement.
Between 3 and 4.
Okay, all right, between 3 and 4. That sounds like a nice time. You got any other tidbits? No,
it's not a nice...
It's a dark time.
It's a dark time.
Bad time. Does that mean it's going to just be all dark and serious?
It's amazing.
It's amazing out of all the people, EA were one of the companies that showed the most gameplay. Overall, I quite liked what I saw. It's obviously their take on the Souls-like combat of locking on and waiting for your time to strike, so I don't expect there to be too many crazy powers such as something like the Force Unleashed. A lot of people think the combat looks quite clunky, but I think that's more to do with the person playing. I think they were more focused on showing you all the force powers you can use. I think I need to see more gameplay to make any sort of judgment, but as for right now, I think it might have a chance to be one of the year's best games. Also, Forrest Whitaker's in it, and you can't go wrong with that.
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
Xbox this generation have done nothing but embarrass themselves, but as I said in my Crackdown 3 review, I feel like that was the last game to come out of this awkward phase Microsoft have been having. With the acquisition of their new studios, this conference was definitely a step in the right direction, and as long as Microsoft keep their greasy hands off of everything, they should do okay. Obsidian Entertainment in my eyes are yet to make a bad game, and The Outer Worlds looks like it's becoming the Fallout New Vegas they always wanted to make. Development was started a while back before they became a part of Xbox, so expect it to be quite rough in a few areas, but even without the budget of a AAA game, if it has that excellent approach to the RPG elements and the storytelling Obsidian are known for, The Outer Worlds is certainly a can't miss. Bleeding Edge looks to try and break its way into the multiplayer hero genre, and judging by other games that have attempted to do the same and the fact that melee is probably harder to pull off than a shooter, yeah, good luck with that, Ninja Theory. Metroidvanias seem to be breaking into the mainstream with each coming year, and with Hollow Knight and Ori 2 coming out in 2020, it looks like one hell of a time to be a fan of these types of games. Probably my biggest complaint with Ori and the Blind Forest was the lack of attention the developers put into the combat, but with this new one they seem to have ironed out everyone's issues with the first game. Also, I don't even want to know how long it took to make this game look like this. It looks better than the original, I didn't even know that was possible. It's been a very long road for Moon Studios, and it's obvious they are spending as much time as they need to make fans happy, and that in my eyes is always commendable. Minecraft Dungeons surprisingly looked pretty good. I mean, Microsoft have to do something with that license they bought for $2.5 billion 5 years ago. They've announced each level is procedurally generated, and I think if they focus on getting a younger audience into the ARPG genre, it might actually be a hit. It's Slender! No, it's Outlast 3! Oh, it's Blair Witch. Okay, I guess. Ooh, Cyberpunk! Is that Keanu Reeves? Oh my god, it's Keanu Reeves! I hope they don't expect him to play a character because he's not very good at that. Yeah. Look, Keanu Reeves is awesome and I did cheer when I saw him. I love John Wick as well, okay? But in terms of playing an actual role, he's not the best.
Cans! Oh my god! There was no big, it was full of cans. Are you sure? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Oh my god!
CD Projekt Red have the monumental task of following The Witcher 3, and if Cyberpunk retains the same quality, we could have a modern Deus Ex on our hands. If you're not excited for Cyberpunk 2077, then you need to check your pulse because you might be dead inside.
The feeling of
of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
Huh. Turns out if you yell at Keanu Reeves, you get free stuff. Hey, I like Cyberpunk too! Alright, what's gonna follow that? Well, sucks to be that developer. My only thoughts on this new Battletoads is that the art style looks incredibly cheap, and I'll be surprised if they keep the hardcore nature of the original. So right now, it's difficult to tell if this will be any good or not. You know, I keep trying to find something malicious behind these new subscription services due to the fact that this is the direction the industry is going, but I can't. It really is a great deal. Xbox Game Pass for PC costs barely anything, and hell, if I can play The Outer Worlds for $5 when it comes out, then I ain't complaining. There's a new flight simulator game. The only flight simulator game I ever played was on Google Earth when I was bored in high school, and I just used to crash it into New York.
Please welcome head of Xbox Game Studios, Matt Booty.
That's just immature.
And great games come from great developers. That's why I'm honored today to announce that joining Xbox Studios is Double Fine Production.
Oh no! Maybe, I'm not sure. Psychonauts is one of my favorite games of all time. Anything these guys make is always offering new ideas and is brimming with imagination. Sure, it's a good thing they now have basically endless funding, but if this leads to the eventual demise of Double Fine, much like another beloved studio, then I swear I'm gonna crumple Phil Spencer's body into the shape of an Xbox and sell it. Psychonauts 2 though gets me more excited the more I see it. Unlike Beyond Good and Evil, I have faith that if a sequel was ever made, it has the chance to blow your goddamn mind just like the original did. Don't you fuck it up, Tim, or I'll fuck you up. What? A Star Wars game? Oh, it's Lego. Believe it or not, Lego Star Wars was one of the first games I fell in love with, and with 9 movies to go through, this is probably going to be the biggest Lego game yet. But let's be honest, the only thing anyone cares about is that remastered Lego Yoda death sound.
Crush my cock with a rock I must. Maximum pain I must endure. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I guess I'll play this if I ever want to depress myself for no reason. Now, I'm a big Gears of War fan, which I feel quite alone in saying, and in my eyes, Gears of War 4 was not very good at all for multiple reasons. I'm not going to bother going into it, but let's just say if Gears 5 doesn't try to rely off the old games, gets rid of the stupid robot enemies that are no fun to fight, and the survival sections, there's a chance it could be pretty good. Yeah, I get it, you have a new movie coming out, fuck off. Dying Light sucks. Dying Light is one of those games I'll never understand why people like, but there is a saving grace with the sequel in that it's written by Chris Avalon, who was responsible for KOTOR 2 and New Vegas, so hopefully the story will be good this time. Oh my god, it's Forza Horizon 4! Oh, it's just Lego.
Crush
No,
my cock
no,
with a rock
no,
I must.
oh god,
Maximum
oh
pain I
jeez. No. Oh my god, some poor bastard still has to work on this? What's this? Oh! Wait, what? Listen, at this point you can stick Miyazaki's name to a brick and I'd buy it for full price. Elden Ring is apparently their biggest title yet, which sounds great, but the collaboration with George R.R. Martin could be awesome or terrible, so I'm not sure how to feel about that. Oh, look, a new console.
We're looking at frame rates, up to 120 frames per second.
8K capability, variable refresh rate.
Next gen rate.
So to end the conference, they decided to dangle Halo's corpse in front of me once again. At this point, I couldn't give a fuck what 343 do with Halo, it's already dead in my eyes. The whole returning back to his original armor is just banking up nostalgia, and you ain't gonna trick me, you bastards!
A type of game we'd never done before. Had a lot of difficulties at launch. And we got a lot of well-deserved criticism.
Ah, okay, I understand, Todd. Completely forgiven, you fucking lying son of a bitch. I knew this conference was going to be a waste of time, but man, I did not expect this. I said before it started that they were rather going to apologize for last year, or just not mention it, you know, because Bethesda basically died last year. But these guys have the nerve to show up and open with Fallout 76 and just pretend it's a great game.
Fuck yeah, we put a battle royale in Fallout 76.
Also, this is the fakest audience I've ever seen at E3. So not only that, but throughout the entire conference they kept showing videos of how great they are.
Fallout 4, oh my gosh, that's like my baby.
Did you play the other ones?
Playing these games just kind of put me out of the worry and the stress.
I was in a dark place.
Oh, come on, people.
For a
it's
while.
a fucking video game.
to
They did show this Ghostwire Tokyo game, which looks interesting, and I've learned to trust this developer when it comes to weird and crazy shit, so hopefully they have more to show soon.
Wow. Wow, so many people. Wow, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. We are making a new kind of action-adventure game. It's spooky. You will meet spirits, some dangerous, some peaceful. You will need to ask yourself, is this normal or paranormal? I ask myself this question every time I go to the office. Let's take a look. Meet net. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I don't know who this lady is, but she's wonderful. Nope. 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 CG trailers don't tell me anything, but it is Arcane, so it'll probably be good. Aha! Now this is what I'm talking about. Doom 2016 was a fast and brutal experience that didn't waste the player's time moving to the next encounter. That fast-paced action of ripping and tearing is key to this game's success, and it'll be interesting to see how it evolves the formula beyond what we've seen. And hey, it comes out this year. Yeah, it's day 9, I love this guy.
And now, Rebellion is ready to reveal its nefarious vision for the project. So, PC Gaming Show, who's ready to stroke a cat menacingly?
They just had to ruin it, didn't they? Also, I don't understand why they now have a stage. I always liked the talk show setting of the previous shows they did. Now all the developers have to stand up and awkwardly talk about the game while debating if they should look at the crowd or not. The PC Gaming Show was a mixed bag as always, so expect to potentially fall asleep. Who would have thought we'd ever see the day? At this point, this game could go anywhere. It could be amazing or terrible, but I hope they understand what made the original good, or else they're gonna upset a lot of people. Either way, it'd be nice to stalk the streets as a vampire once again. You know Mordehau exists, right? Oh look everyone, it's proper-
How are you guys enjoying it so far? There's been some swords, some space stations, vampires...
Can you shut up? Shenmue 3, finally, after all these years!
What did you say to me?
Oh.
This is him, the Japanese guy who got in our way.
Oh.
You've got some guts to barge in here on your own.
Oh no! This man-eater game looks...
Who was that appallingly dressed fisherman in the trailer? Because quite frankly, not even I would eat him.
That was Scaly Pete.
This man-eater game looks ridiculous, and I think I love it. They even called it a SharPG, like how does this not exist already? I'm in. Any excuse to jump back into Terraria is a good excuse. Terraria still stands as one of the greatest indie success stories of all time, and they've yet to disappoint, so it looks like we're going back in, boys. Out of all the studios to be doing Baldur's Gate 3, Larian are probably the only guys who could pull it off. Obviously it's nowhere near ready, but if Divinity Original Sin is anything to go off, Baldur's Gate 3 might become one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Aisha Tyler isn't here anymore, so now Ubisoft's conference has gone from cringy to boring, and man was it boring. It's the new Assassin's Creed! Oh no, it's not. Wow, this game looks so good, it's almost as if it's not real. I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble, but this is so heavily scripted that it can't be representative of the final product. Watch Dogs 2 was a game not many people played, which is a shame because it was actually pretty good. It seems that Watch Dogs 3 has toned down the comedy a little bit, but then again, you can still play as an old woman, which is certainly interesting, and I do like the whole permadeath play as anyone idea. My whole issue with all of this, other than this gameplay isn't real, is that Ubisoft haven't made anything in the past 5 years that makes me think it'll be anything above decent.
Scouting talent, Bagley. So gob shut, eyes peeled, yeah?
Also, nobody talks like this.
I think it's...
Why is this at E3? I don't know about you, but this new Ghost Recon just looks incredibly generic, and if you want an actual tactical shooter, there are plenty of better options. Also, my god, did this drag on. Yeah, I get it, you have a new movie coming out, fuck off. Yeah, Ubisoft had nothing this year. Whoa! Yeah! Wow! Awesome! I don't know anything about this series! I understand for a lot of people this was a good conference, but I'm not a Square Enix fan, so I don't have much to talk about. Everyone else seems excited though.
Director, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
There was the Marvel Avengers game though, which was kinda weird, because it doesn't have anything to do with the cinematic universe, but yet that's obviously where they got the design for the heroes, so they just look like knockoff versions, which was funny. We didn't get to see any gameplay, but it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, since the Avengers probably isn't the easiest thing to adapt to a video game.
Here we go, off the rails. Don't you know it's time to raise our sails?
I think for a lot of people this was the saving grace of E3, and I understand why. I'm not much of a Nintendo fan outside of Zelda and Mario, so a lot of this conference wasn't for me, but I know it was probably exciting for a lot of people. My favourite thing from Nintendo this year was definitely Luigi's Mansion 3. After seeing gameplay, it's clear this is no side game. This is a fully fledged sequel to Luigi's Mansion, and it's full of that Nintendo charm that's in all of their other big games. I love that each level has its own theme, and with an emphasis on exploration, it really could end up being one of the best games of the year. As long as Luigi is just as goofy as he was, I'm all in. What? No, what? That's Banjo! That's Banjo! You motherfuckers, you put Banjo in Smash, but you won't make a new game, goddammit! That's all I want! I just want Banjo 3! Why are you gonna do that? While Breath of the Wild isn't my favourite Zelda game, it's interesting that they're making a sequel and have said it's darker than Majora's Mask. Darker than Majora's Mask, however, could just mean it's creepy though, because I mean, Majora's Mask had some really fucked up stuff in it that probably shouldn't have gotten in. I'm definitely intrigued though, and for a lot of people this was probably their favourite thing from E3. Nintendo might not be the greatest at business, but they do understand video games. Well, that was E3. Wasn't it just the best? Really, the best parts of E3 this year was just getting release dates for games we already know exist. So overall, E3 was pretty bad this year, but I did predict it would be, especially without Sony here. So that's all from me, and hopefully some good
The year is 1946.
Will you leave?